This is some wacky shit, dude. And let me tell you, like, this is that guys. This trained in. I mean, like that. Like just 1, 2, 3 into fucking Windows. Like into BIOS, whatever. Like you just trained so quickly. It was just stupid. Like it's stupid. Like so. TX VDQ right now is a 1.35. I found that at 1.3 it's a little bit slower, so 1.35 seems optimal. It's also what Kingpin used for his 7000, but 1.35 seems like the voltage you want to go to on this board. SA would be up here. It's 1.1 volts right now. 1.1 seemed like it doesn't really matter too much, but I like 1.1 just for a bit of insurance, I guess you could say. Again, drive voltage defaults to 1.45, matching VDQ and VDD. I also find this board runs these voltages far more stable than Asus. I feel like Asus, there's a bit more fluctuation. But anyway, so the settings, if you want to see them, which I'm sure you do, look at this, dude. 6800, 3240, 41T at 1.45 volts, dude. Tight secondaries, right? So you got 6.4, 340, 65, 280. FGR mode, so you need to run half. You can't do 135, 60 after 6800. So I'm going to be on 65, 280 pretty much daily because I'm going to be up at like 7,200 soon, so whatever. Yeah, I'm confident, guys. I'm confident. Like, this board is easy mode, my guy. 12.8, 19.19, 12.8, 60.48. So we've got 24 and 12 for TWTRL and TWTRS, sorry. So that calculation is just 60 minus 6 minus TCWL. So that would be, yeah, so that's 24, and then it's going to be, so 60 minus 36 is 24, then 48 minus 36 again is going to be 12. So 24, 12 on TWTRNS, and then just ones all out here, but that's just because these are DRDD timings. These are just irrelevant. You can't make the 0 on EVGA, you have to make it 1, but 1, so it's whatever, just for looking nice. 41, 41 TWR in pre and PDEN, sorry. And that's going to give you 6. So I could have made this 39, it could have been 4, but I feel like once you get down to 4, 2, whatever, 0, even, it gets weird. So I prefer just sticking to like something reasonable, something more like 41s. Otherwise, anything else? Not really. I mean, come check. Here we go. Per bank is 300 right now. Yeah, we left TXP on auto. We left PPD on auto. I'm not touching those. It's a headache. No point. And the RTL's trained in really decently. 64, 65, 60, 59. I like relatively tight. I mean, the indication is if they're bad, then usually it means you're unstable. But honestly, this feels like fucking butter. Like, this feels dailyable. So I'm going to run a stress test. I think this is about as tight as I can go. I don't really feel like there's much headroom in this. And like I always say in videos, it's better to have headroom than to be like on the verge of just crashing. So I'm going to stick to my own advice, and I'm going to stress test this so long. But yeah, so I'm gonna run a stress test real quick. I'm gonna run some some Lintpack Extreme, and then after that I'll do some TM5 or something. But yeah, again, this board is crazy, so I'm gonna add this to like a video where I speak about stable results. So I'm gonna try and get the stable real quick. I'm gonna go do cardio while tests, and then I will hopefully make a video right after to give you an idea of what I got stable, literally like minutes after setting up. But yeah, right, so a bit of an update. Yeah, as you can see, I look a bit different. So this is actually the next day. Technically, wait, was that video from, no, it was actually nighttime. So technically this is the morning of the day after the day after. That makes sense. So I got this board the Monday. That video was from Monday evening, from when I was testing, or Monday night rather. And then it's now like Wednesday, like really early morning. Still testing. So I didn't have a ton of time testing, by the way. We have load shedding where I live also. So I was testing for like I think it was like 2 hours I had on that night, that Monday night. I was like testing for like maybe 2 hours, actually more like an hour and a bit. Just like changing settings for a little bit. And I got tired and I had to go do cardio, and I was like, I'll go to bed and start again the next day. So yesterday I came, I woke up at like, I don't know, like 12 or something. Went to the gym and like, you know, did some stuff in town, got a haircut and everything, and then it was evening time, and I didn't start testing because it was like I came home at like past 6, and we had load shedding at like 8 o'clock, so I had no power till like 10. So I started testing at like 10. So it's been about now been about 6 hours, yeah. So been testing for 6 hours now, and just like changing different combinations of settings and stuff. Ended up realizing that when you get to 7,000 or around 7,000, temperatures actually really begin to matter. So it seems like the sticks I have, whether it be certain timings or whether it was whatever, you could even not set like stuff like TRFC or TRFI. Like it would run quite far with just primary set but no secondary set. But then if you set the secondary, it started freaking out. Eventually I was like, you know what, this is frustrating because this board it's great. Like you can tell you're hitting the limit of your hardware when the training starts becoming really like labored. Like when you start training and hitting like training errors. If you watch the postcode run, like you don't have to be expert, just like if you watch the postcode in your board run, if it starts cycling certain codes, like if it starts cycling 1F, 7F, 5D, like 0, like if it starts cycling and then hits 0D, and then it cycles again, hits 7F, tries to post, doesn't do it, goes again, and it keeps cycling and cycling and cycling. If it keeps cycling like that, you know your stuff is at the limit. Even if it trains, you know you're like either it's gonna be unstable, or if it is stable, it's gonna be like reboot unstable, or like it's gonna be like an unreliable config. I had a config last year with Comet Lake where it would like black screen on boot at certain boots. Like it would train and then like it would just black screen on certain boots, like every other boot, whatever. We were like from cold boot, it would just black screen, and then you would have to restart again, retrain again, and then eventually it would train correctly. So, but no, this stuff though, like this setup, like you saw in the last video, like the last clip I made, it trains like quickly, right? So, I was frustrated, and I was like, you know what? That Kingston kit I mentioned, and I spoke to my friend about it, like because he's also been struggling to sell his motherboard, so he didn't really like. I don't think he was guaranteed he could buy my board anymore because he was also struggling studies, and also like I explained to him that I kind of might use the Kingstons because I'm having bad luck with my current kit. So I was like, after hours of testing, and I was like, you know what, tested enough. I can tell that temps are a problem. So I'm gonna try the Kingston kit maybe. So first off, I checked the back of the kit. Very important before you open up a kit of Kingstons. If you are gonna order online, you have to check the serial number on the back of the DIMMs. There's a 4-character in capital letters string of letters in capitals, like I said, and it comes like maybe it's like just like the line of numbers just after the serial, or like it's like one of the lines of numbers, but you'll see there's a number where one of the long numbers has letters in it, and then like the first 4 letters of this like long string of characters is like 4 capital letters. That will tell you what IC you have. So if the last letter in that string is an H, you get Hynix. If the last letter is an S, you get Samsung. So you have to check you have Hynix. So I had to check first. There was a H. Now, it wasn't the H that the other guys in OCN had, but it was an H. I was like, okay, I think it's Hynix. I'm going to gamble it. Cracked open the box, unsealed it, can no longer sell as sealed, right? Or whatever, and I put them in. And immediately, I see, well, you can't see it here, but because it's running a test now, the idle temps were 21 degrees Celsius. With this current setup. So if you can see the fan blowing on the DIMMs, I have the fan zip tied to my cooler's tubes. Also, by the way, probably not recommended to run the cooler like this because if it leaks power supply. But I have to elevate it to keep the pump and the rad like kind of like the rad can't be below the pump. So this is the only way of getting it elevated, and then also like the position is good for the fan to like be level. So this works, and it's like on my dims directly. Now, you can notice, I'm not sure or what, but like the Kingston kits seem to have, and I've noticed it too with like the older Kingstons, like the HyperX we used to buy for like DDR3 even, like, because I've been around since DDR3. They always had these like grooves in the heatsink, and I wonder if those grooves aren't open. I think there is actually an opening in the groove. Now, why that's interesting is because you actually get airflow, right? When the vendors close off the heatsinks, it looks prettier, but you get no airflow. You completely choke those DIMMs, those ICs. And there are no thermal pads on most vendors' PMICs. So Z5s, A-data stuff, no thermal pads. Now, what does that mean? It means temperatures on stuff like Kingston is just so much better. Like, so if you want to see what it's running right now, so we're doing 7,000. Yeah, I know, guys, I know. The primaries are somewhat okay. Secondaries are a bit scuffed, but look, we're frustrated, guys. We're trying to get something going. Tertiaries are set. I mean, these are set, so they're set. They're still tightened. It's just they're not like uber tight, but they are set though. You know, they're better than stock by quite a bit, and you know they're good enough to run. I think they're possible. Like, they're reasonable, right? They're not like terribly slow. They're not super tight again, but they're not terribly bad. And come to here, you can see that the same bank. Wait, it's going to be a same bank is, or per bank, same bank per bank is 325. So I have that set 50 lower than the normal TRFC. You can get that a bit lower, but I have it set like by 50 lower. I know 375 and 325 just look nice, so I just you know, punch them in or whatever. But yeah, so this is running TM5. By the way, this is further than any setup has come so far on TM5. The only one that made it further than this was one that was 6933 or something. It was something with no secondaries, no tertiary set, and it was like 1 hour and something minutes in, and it like errored once, and I was like so pissed off. But yeah, but this is running, guys, sub 32C. That is insane. Like, that is crazy. I'm not sure where these 47C values come from. Like, I don't know where that came from. But yeah, I never saw 47C. This was 32C max the whole time. Maybe it like, oh well, it jumped. But I think that's a bug. Yeah, I think that's a bug. I'm pretty sure that's just like registers that temp, and then it's like, but no, that's not what it's running at. It doesn't matter though. The important thing is it's running at 32C like for 99% of the time, and that's what I need to get this thing stable, because damn, dude, like this at this speed, the temps actually really begin to matter. I would almost by this point like say Z5s and other like vendors kits maybe not the best for OCing. Like, I'm not saying you can't buy them or use them. Like, at XMP they work relatively fine, and you know, XMP is important because some people don't like the tune. So XMP does matter because some people really don't like the tune. So XMP, they work fine, obviously, and they work fine up to like 6600. But once you hit 7000, especially like 1T, no, you need better cooling. Like, you just can't get away with it. You cannot run the DIMMs at like 55C. I mean, there was one result I saw online where it was like 64C max temp, and it was like 6933. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if maybe I don't know what he did. I mean, the voltage was quite high for 6933, so I think maybe he brute forced it, because you can stabilize destabilizing setups with more voltage. But I think the better solution is just having colder DIMMs. And for me, I'm going to keep the HyperXs. I think they're, or the Kingstons, I think they're just superior. Like, but at this point, I can't see any. I mean, bin-wise, I would say the Kingston's bin is better by this point. I think the Kingstons have been running 7,000 better, more stable, better settings than the Costers did. But again, the Costers have a high XMP, which I guess does matter for some people. So that's that. But yeah, weird. I find it so strange. I haven't taken a video. The cost is out now. I'm not putting them back in, but like they were running at 52C in the test. So the Kingston's literally run 20 degrees colder, like literally 20 degrees colder, and it's helping a lot. Like it's making a big difference because I can promise you right now the costs would not be this far. Funny things like VDDQ is actually running 90 millivolts lower. Like, you can set that, like there is an allowance. You can have, there's like an allowance of like, I think it's like 150 millivolts that you can have between the voltages that way before it gets dangerous. So 150 millivolts is still like it's still quite far away from that, but so 90 is fine, and you don't generally need that much data queue. I just find it weird because with my board, like all the OCers leave data queue auto because data queue matches your VDD. So with the casters too, I started like leaving data queue because it was like it's a waste of time setting it. So like I can just make it auto and it's like autos to the other one. But then with this kit, I matched in 1.55 VDD like voltage drain, and then the data queue voltage came in at like 1.45. So I don't know if the RAM low-key was like, nah, Dane, nah, it's gonna be unstable. It's like, nah, we need this much less. Like, let's set it for him. It's like the RAM was fucking tuning for me, dude. What the fuck? That's some weird shit, bro. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Fucking divine intervention, bro. The RAM and the board were like, nah, we need to help this dude. This guy's struggling. No, dude, it's 90 millivolts less, trust me. And then it just set itself. It's like, nah, dude, nah, we need to be lower. Like, that's funny as fuck. Anyway, but yeah, so very interesting. But yeah, so I think this will pass. It's already past half an hour now. I had to OC my CPU. Unfortunately, I had to do like I'm doing currently. Okay, this is a crap bin, right? This is a really bad bin. So for Linpack Extreme, it's 1.33 volts default V droop on the dock. The way they label it is default, and then you get like 25% less V droop, 25% whatever. You get the point. Like they don't have settings like levels. They just have it like default level that they have, which is like I guess the best or most optimal level, which I can assume. And then they have like 25% less V droop, 50% less V droop, 75% less V droop, and then they have like 25 more, 50% more V droop, 75 more V droop for the people that like more V droop or whatever. So I decided I usually like a nice amount of V droop. I tried 25% less V droop, and it seemed like it was like not drooping nearly enough. So I was like, no, let's try default. So I tried default. Default seemed good. Had good transient response. I just felt like the testing was going better. You can tell when the V droop is too high or low. Like when the V droop is too low, testing starts becoming weird. I like default, so I stuck to default. 1.33 volts to get well, I can show you. Like yeah, I can show you guys. I did yeah. So this is it. So it passed 50 loops of impact. Now this was quite cold today. It was quite cold when I tested it. So I don't believe this will be stable in a warm day, but this did pass. Max temp still 89, so I mean it still got warm, obviously. But voltage was like yeah. So we were at 1. Well, I don't know why it's dropping there. It's meant to be higher, but yeah, it was 1.33 set, which is 1.32 get, like Gamers Nexus kind of puts it. I mean, you can say it that way. I guess you can. VRV out on the ISL's controller was 1.32, so I guess 1.32 was the idle voltage, and then it V-drooped all the way down to like whatever. It wasn't. This won't show because I opened this after the testing, but like it V-drooped down to like whatever. It doesn't matter, 1.27 or something like that. But yeah, I was stable for 5 gigahertz on the P cores, 4 on the E cores, and 4 on the ring. Very conservative, nothing special, but this bin sucks, and to run Linpack Extreme 50 loops, that's what it requires. There's no way I'm running anything less or more. It was erroring with like 10 millivolts less, so there was no way. Like this is what it had. This is what it had in it. This is all it could do. Like it is what it is. But why I needed the OC was because TestMem5 was actually running obscenely slow. It's something I've noticed before. TestMem5 and certain applications, like when you have C states on and when you have like auto ratios and stuff, for some reason like some fucking tests like don't run like properly at all. Like, it's not the first time I've seen this. When I saw this, I was like, nah, like this is something. There's something going on because TM5 was running like really slow. Speaking of, I think it's running quite slow now as well. But I have the OC, so what do you do? Like, it's running as admin. It's OC'd. Everything is maxed out, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know why TM5 is finishing so late. Like, yeah, it's running as admin. I don't even know. I don't know. It's whatever, I guess. But yeah, weird. I can see CPU usage is like 35%. So I don't know. Like, because I've disabled C states. P cores are locked. E cores are locked. Ring is locked. Got max power windows. Everything is like TM5 as admin. What else do you want? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to get it to max out the CPU. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, I could try ring only. I mean, like P cores only, but I doubt that would fix it. That might fix it, actually. It might be because of Windows 10. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is actually the first... this is the first RAM stress test I've used on Windows 10. So, I think... Yeah. That makes fucking sense. Dude, the reason why Buildzoid and Frame Chasers say that, like... when people, not just them, but like a lot of people online have been saying that when you run RAM stress tests, you have to run P cores only because E cores slow down the testing. I noticed on Windows 11 that never happened. Like the E cores like were utilized just fine between like the P cores and E cores shared the load fine. I think this is a Windows 11, a Windows 10 problem. Fuck yeah, this is a Windows 10 problem because fucking wait, I have an idea. Hold on. No fucking way. No fucking way. Oh, content, bro. This shit. Okay, hold on. Check this shit, guys. So, keep in mind, this does not track threads. But core 0 to 7, what are those? P cores. So what's core 8 through fucking 15? Fucking equals. Windows 10 cannot allocate workloads like RAM stress tests to the fucking P cores. Interesting. So, fucking solved it. That's the mystery fucking solved, I guess. Huh. Fucking cool. I guess that means testing is about to fucking restart because this just invalidated 40 minutes of testing because it's useless to test them on the equals. So, yeah, I guess I am gonna have to restart the fucking test. But anyway, yeah, so there it's proven. Fucking anyone that wants to know why Windows 10 seems to like not like the equals when you're RAM stress testing. Apparently Windows 10 doesn't know how to fucking put the RAM workload equals, sorry. Yeah, Windows 11 works just fine. Like Windows 11 will do it fine. Not that it's a good OS, it's a fucking shit OS. I went back to 10 because of some other reason, but yeah, like Windows 11, if you run RAM stress tests on Windows 11 with the equals on, it'll leverage the equals and the P cores to the workload. So you actually run the test faster. Like TM5 P plus E on Windows 11 runs faster than P only. How do I know? I've tested it. Okay, Karu RAM test runs way faster with both, right? And so does HCI. But now you're seeing on Windows 10, the equals are being leveraged, the P cores are idle. So this test is null. I'm exiting because it's pointless. Time to restart testing. But whatever, it's fine. I guess I'll just tighten up some timings because these timings are fucking scuffed regardless, dude. And I'll lock in the VDDQ and whatever. But yeah, so that was interesting. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon, I guess. I'm gonna load these videos into my PC and upload once I have it completely stable, and then I'll finish the video. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to speak kind of loud. And yeah, I've got a new mic now in this video. I've had it for a bit, but I've had some problems with audio. It's just a bit soft. It's a really good like quality mic, but it's a bit soft. With the new motherboard, I've actually noticed that sound definitely has improved again. So whether it be output quality or just input quality, like input volume, yeah, there's something going on with Asus Z690 boards. Not terribly sure what, but unfortunately, that is no longer my problem. So, um, you know what this is. From the last two clips that I had added, the last section is going to be me showing the final results I got with this board. Now I do have to give a disclaimer. These results aren't necessarily indicative of what the dock can capably do, because the dock could probably do a lot better than what I'm showing you guys, given the right circumstances. And when I say right circumstances, I mean if I had a KS that was highly binned, like a SP110 KS or a kit of Hynix 8i, and perhaps even liquid cooling. So if I had like a custom liquid cooling setup for my CPU and my RAM, I could definitely run my RAM a lot faster, and if I could, you know, with more voltage and colder, therefore faster. And well, I'll get to that. But yeah, so regarding that, I had some interesting findings too, which is why I mentioned the colder faster thing is about something else that I'm about to tell you guys. But yeah, otherwise these results are relatively good. The CPU being used right now is an SP83 1200K. Same one I used with my Z690-F, the one from the last video with me in person, where I showed like me booting 64 gigs of RAM at like 6400 and stuff, and then I showed that the 6-layer board could do 6600 stable. So that board, that same CPU, I did originally use that memory kit, but I have since switched. So I mentioned earlier in this video, was it this one or was it the video from I think a few days ago? It would have been either the one from a few days ago or it's a clip in this one. No, I think it's the one from a few days ago. So I mentioned I was testing the casters. Yeah, that didn't work out. So I'll explain all of that right now. So first of all, this is the dock again, and you can see that this is the same 5.1, 4.0, 4.2 OC I've referenced in previous videos that I was using with my Strix board. So with the dock, what you can notice is the set voltage is 1.35 volts, and the LLC being used right now with this particular board, the one that I found works the best, is the default V-droop setting. Default's actually 90 millivolts of V-droop, meaning this would have been running at something like 1.26 volts under load. That is quite substantial because it is a lot lower than the 1.3. It's going to be, if I find the Strix result here, it's going to be this one. So the Strix here, if you can notice, is running 1.36 here. It's 1.36 in Windows. It's actually 1.38 if you check here in Turbo V Core, and it's level 5 LLC, which I always use in Strix boards. And yeah, like 1.38 level 5 LLC is 1.33 at load. So that is significantly more voltage. You can see as well, this is running in 8-degree weather, whereas this OC over here is running in 14-degree weather. So 14-degree weather, 8-degree weather, keep in mind. And this maxed out at what, like 95C? So this maxed out at probably less, right? 93C. Interesting. So, but you have to keep into account, like, yes, this is more voltage, and it's somehow running colder, a little bit colder. The weather is a big factor. Like 8-degree weather, especially if it's a particularly like if there's wind and if it's chilly, like 8-degree weather could really like feel very cold, and it's quite a bit different to like sunny 14-degree weather, like you can see in this picture over here. So the fact that this is still within reason of the other result is incredible, because 14-degree weather is way more dailyable than 8-degree weather for testing, because that 8-degree OC, I'm telling you right now, did fail in warm weather. So yeah, this is really good. So yeah, it's a little bit warmer, sure, but I mean, this as well, you can check it's running hardware info, so you can notice that it's actually running slower, because I didn't think about it consciously, but HW info polling in the background does slow down Linpack. So this inherently, without polling in the background, was running way faster. As you can see, average gigaflops was 490 in this test, and the other one was, if I find it again for you, it was, no, that's one, sorry, I think it was this one. So 445. So 445 versus 490. So that's telling you that because of HWF polling, it's dropping 45 gigaflops, which is a lot slower. And as a result, this was running a lot colder artificially. Like, if this was with no HWF open, this could have been easily hitting 98 degrees because it would have been running at, like, you know, similar speeds. So yeah, you need less voltage. You're doing more gigaflops, and the temps are within striking distance. But the temperatures on this screenshot are far lower. So you can assume that what the dock is doing, right here at 14-degree weather, 490 gigaflops, running really quickly, still capping at 95. You can assume that, like, this 1.35 volt OC is legit. Like, this is a legit lower voltage requirement to get, in fact, better performance. You're getting more gigaflops, similar temps, similar max temps, like between 93 and 95. I mean, you can even check in the screenshot. It's possible that one of the cores even hit a higher temp, but the average wasn't much higher. So if I come to this one, so we can take a look. So no. It's so 93 is the warmest core. So yeah, but again, like 93 degrees versus 95. And you're talking about 6 degrees an ambient difference, and the one is a sunset result, like one is a sunny sort of clear day result, and the other one is a rainy result. Like, I mean, you can pretty much assume that the dock is doing that same configuration at less voltage, because, like, with 6 degree an ambient difference, it should be quite a big difference in terms of voltage requirements and stuff. So yeah, the dock was doing really well there, and then this one kind of seals it. So if I close off this screenshot, this is the one that really seals it. So I just want to make sure. Okay, wait. There we go. And this one. Okay, cool. There we go. So this one and this next one that you're seeing. So yeah, these two. Now, what you're looking at here is 5.1 gigahertz on the peak cores, 4.9 ring, 1.33 volts set, same default V-droop setting. It's hitting a max of 90C on the warmest core, 90C. 625 gigaflops, extremely fast. Like, this is running lightning quick, and 7,000 casually chilling in the background, right? Compare that to, oh yeah, that's a factor too. The fact that memory was running faster on the other screenshot is part of why it was running a bit warmer. Memory will, especially with the, like, memory clock speed, like, I mean, the memory clock speed affecting the IMC clock speed, like, it will warp the die. So this one is 600, so it's not slow, but 5 gigaflops slower. So I mean, you know, similar speeds, I guess. But this is 4.8 ring, that was 4.9 ring. This required 1.37 volts set, LLC5 again, and it maxed out at what, like 92C. So yeah, like 2C, only 2C warmer. But look at this, 7 degrees versus again 13 degrees, 13 degrees, 7 degrees. That is 6 degrees in ambient difference. That's going to be huge for cooling. That's like, I mean, if that same test before was taken in this kind of weather, that wouldn't have been 90C. Think more like 96, 97C, like possibly even 98, 99C. So, yeah, this was a really impressive result. Like 1.33 volts at this ambient temp, and then consistent 625 gigaflops, and with 7,000 calories running in the background. Like, this is insane. Like, and to give you an idea of how fast this is my IDA result. Wait, no, this one. This one. So 49.2 nanoseconds. Now, obviously, I did, like, you know, refresh this a few times to get it to the fastest on average. But yeah, this was hitting 49.2 like pretty much like consistently. It was like 49.2, 49.3, 49.3, like 50, and then like this is the one 49.2 I got, and I was like, we need to save this one. So 49.2, and you know, I'm not gonna say like, oh wow, it's what you expect. It's, you know, with this kind of data rate, if you know these data rates, if you've seen other screenshots, these are pretty much what you'd expect to receive, to see result wise. And then with the equals on, it it was a little bit higher bandwidth because of more cores being there. No, I mean, was it even? Wow, no, that's interesting. That is very interesting. So with the equals on, even having more cores, do you know how good the ring was running? I guess it just didn't. Yeah, it just. I mean, it didn't really affect the write, copy, and the read. Obviously, latency was lower. Funny enough, L3 cache's latency with the equals on is lower than with the equals off. That's pretty funny because the ring is running 4.9 versus 4.2. Oh well, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so with the equals on, to give you an idea of what 7,000 gets you, it's about 50.8. Now, yeah, now if I can show you a previous screenshot from the other, if I just find it, I wasn't planning to show this one, but I guess it's a good reference point. So if you want to get an idea of what the equals do with a slower memory configuration, you could. What am I doing? Goodness. 5. This one. I think this one's good. Also this one. Yeah, this one. Let's grab this one. So 6600 3939 is 51.8 with a equal profile. So yeah, the same exact CPU configuration. So with 6600, you're expecting about 2 nanoseconds of latency extra. So 51.8 versus 50.8. Wait, I just no. What am I doing? Sorry guys, I apologize. I'm very there we go. So yeah, 51.8 versus I'm being stupid. 1 nanosecond. Sorry. I'm probably tired. Yeah. So wow, actually 1 nanosecond. Well, it doesn't matter. 1 nanosecond for 400 mega transfers per second. So that's what you can expect. But okay, let's look at with the ring one. Let's look at this. 50.1 versus 49.2. So still about 1 nanosecond. Interesting. So like it's pretty much a consistent 1 nanosecond for the data rate. Obviously timing's a bit higher, but alright, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess diminishing returns, right? But it's what you want. It's like it's just the allure of having the highest speed possible, right? So it's not always about practicality, but yeah. So if I close up these because we're not really needing these anymore. So the stable result was 7,000, 32, 42, 42, 28. 2T, I tried 1T a few times. I tried some different settings, but I kept erroring. And I tried 7200. It did boot, but it was also kind of hard to get stable. These particular tertiaries with these secondaries and these primaries seem to be the go-to. It seemed like even with TWR and TRTP a bit too tight, with some tertiaries too tight, was still erroring. I had to drop those or raise those, and then with the same voltages. Funny enough, so I can't show you them here because sometimes when you finish testing, the voltages just disappear. Like the PMIC for some reason just like stops reporting. I don't know why that does that. It's very weird. When you restart it's fine again. I don't know why it does that, but yeah. So you can't see the volts right now here, but the one I'm dialing is the same one. So it's these. So funnily enough, with the PMIC that these Kingston 6 use, the PMIC of the Kingston 6 likes to set data queue 100 millivolts below drain. So I have no idea why it does that, but it does that. So even if you do 1.6, it'll do 1.5. Kind of weird, but it's weird because it doesn't usually do that. Like with the Corsair sticks that like Lumi was using, and like with the sticks that I was using even before the data sticks, it was matching. But with these sticks, it was like, nah, it wants 100 millivolts less. So I don't know. I'm not complaining. I don't really mind. And if it runs, it runs. It does run. So 1.55 volts is probably the most I would advise running for daily. You could do 1.6, but it's just a bit high. It's a tad bit high. I'm not terribly sure what degradation will look like, but I'd say 1.55 is pretty much like on the edge. But yeah, we get some savings here with the data key voltage being a bit low, so that's nice. Yeah, you do have some momentary spikes, but that's kind of expected from the PMIC. You will have these momentary spikes, but the voltage is 1.55 set for the frequency. Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, like, there's one more thing I want to show actually, and that is Geekbench. So if we look at the result with the casters and the Strix board, 84,000 and about 13,400 memory. With this configuration, 13,500 memory and 85,000. So again, not terribly faster, but definitely faster. And then if you look at the result with the equals off, so much higher ring, 13,800. So yeah, I think this kind of goes to show that there is a point of diminishing returns to the RAM, and you don't really need more than 6600. But you have to understand the reason why I purchased the dock and why I would recommend a lot of people do. The reasons go deeper than just like the surface level results. So I'm going to switch back to my phone camera now to do a face cam. I'll discuss this. And so yeah, so as I was saying in the video, it's hard for me to keep my eyes level on the camera. Okay, let me look at the webcam or the front cam. So as I was saying with that video, there's other reasons why you'd purchase a dock that aren't necessarily just surface results with benchmarks. And obviously the benchmarks being not that much different means gaming results between 600 and 7,000 probably aren't that much different either. Even with DDR4, like, there is a point of diminishing returns, a pretty hard point of diminishing returns, and that was exhibited in FrameChaser's latest video actually that he made like just the other day. So should you buy the dock? Should you buy something like the dock? Well, let me answer that question for you. There's a problem with that question, and that is, on the surface, you'll be like, well, I can go on even, okay, I can even show you. I don't want to show too much, but if I go to my profile here, and you can see selling the Strix board on Carbonite for that price, right? Prices in dollars is 3,500 Rand to USD, and I knew it would be, it's about $200. So, okay, so you're like, oh my goodness, Dane, I can purchase your board for $200. The dock cost me like 500. Why would I buy the dock? It's like, oh, why would I buy the dock? Why would I buy the UEFI X if you're showing me that 6-layer budget $200 secondhand motherboard probably can get for like $200 with rebates? If you know, one of these days it'll all be $200. Like, well, I could just buy that. True, you could buy that. Now, if you buy that board, you get 4 DIMM slots. You can do 6400 with 4 DIMM slots, like I showed you. It's just really hard to do. Very, very hard to do. But Asus has a very good topology for 4 DIMM configurations. And obviously the dock and the UEFI don't have 4 DIMM slots. Now, as I mentioned in the video a few days ago, you should probably not buy the dock at like 700, 900. I think at that valuation, it is pretty much like buying a Formula or buying like a Glacial or maybe a Godlike, because at that point you're pretty much just buying the best product they sell that didn't cost them that much to make, and you're buying it because it's got great performance, but it's extremely bad value and makes no sense performance per dollar, right? At $500, it becomes a compelling purchase because now the UEFI X is $400 on sale. It was $450 beforehand. It was $450 forever because they were like, why should we put it on sale if it's the best, like the most consistent board in the lineup? Everyone loves it, which is true. It was a great motherboard, the UEFI X. Very few complaints with it that most people had. I didn't own one, but complaints were few. So it was a great motherboard. But the dock, in my opinion, at $500, and even if you live in where I live, or if you live in Europe, if you've got to pay like $650, like I paid $650 because I paid $150 for shipping and handling fees. $150 is not cheap. That's about $50 off the price I'm selling my Strix for, so it's a lot of money. Actually, if you think about it, $150 can buy you a B550 Master on Amazon. So if you live in South Africa, it's a bit rough because $150 is not nothing. You can buy my RAM kit costing $170. So it's like, Like, 150 is a lot of money to pay on top of the 500, and I'm already telling you 500 is a fair price, but not cheap. Anyway, the problem with buying something like the Strix is, although the Strix can get you 6,600, pretty consistent, right? I did notice that on odd occasions, CSGO was crashing. It was freezing. I'm not talking about not like often, but like once every 5-6 hours, maybe. And I couldn't really put my finger. I mean, the stress test showed 6,600 working fine. It passed Linpack many times, passed TM5 twice. I even typed in the settings and it still passed TM5. 6400, the same thing, was passing TM5. Easy. Passing Linpack. Easy. It was easy. It was fine. But even 6400 would crash every now and again. Even when I had my Samsungs back early in the year with my old Dash Shift, my first one, same thing. It was perfectly fine, stable passing tests, but every now and again, you'd have some weird crash, and that's where we've heard, like, on the OCN forums we've spoken about, Asus boards have some weird thing going on. Even if you pass memory tests, some Asus boards, at the higher data rates, they lose signal integrity, for a split second. I have no idea what happens, but it happens. And it's very strange, but it does happen. Someone said they had like 6400 or 6600 1T on Apex, and then like that would not run CSGO, like they had to drop down. Funny enough, on my Apex, 6133 1T was running CSGO perfectly fine, like completely stable. But that's because 6133 for that board was the absolute like rock solid limit. So it was like perfectly happy at 6133, like so happy, and it was like you would never crash ever. It was completely rock solid. The problem is it's not very fast. So that's the thing. Now, as far as I've heard, MSI haven't had many issues, but there have been some things I've seen. I can't recall exactly, but I've seen some things here and there. This board is not like that. This board is like, okay, if you're buying Alder Lake, or even Raptor Lake, and you want rock solid, I mean rock fucking solid, no Linpack errors ever. Like no Linpack, no IBT, no data channel errors. You want the ability to run 0.95 system agent all the fucking time if you want. Like if you really want to, you can. You want the ability to run the lowest TX possible because you want your chip's IMC to last forever, right? You want to be able to run the lowest dim voltage possible. Like, because the signal is so good that the dim voltage that's required for the same settings is always lower. It's always lower. Like, if you have any set of sticks whatsoever, it doesn't matter what you have. Any dims you have will inherently run their settings with lower voltage on this board compared to any other board. Okay? That's a big factor. Because guess what? Like, just because you can run 7000 on a, like on a handpicked, like UEFI X at like 1.6 something volts, that does not compare to running 7000 at 1.55 drain and 1.45 data queue. Like that does not compare. And it does not compare to being able to leave VDD2 auto. That's... Guys, when you're buying the dock $500, you have to understand what you're buying. You're buying peace of mind. That's what they're selling, okay? Do you see right here? Right? If I turn flash on. So, notice something. Every single port, like I mentioned before, is covered up. You see absolutely nothing. The only piece of PCB you see, that piece right there, right? You see barely any PCB. There's almost nothing to scratch, right? Everything is neatly laid out. The board is clean. Like when I say clean, you see on this board is phenomenal, dude. Like you don't see a single fucking patch of solder mask. You don't see any sort of weird like misaligned traces. You don't see any like scratches on the PCB from the factory, which that you do see on some boards, by the way. There is absolutely nothing on the dock misplaced, weirdly sorted, nothing. There is, like, on the Apex I had, there was like skew headers, there was skew fucking caps, skew, like, the soldering job was fucking horrendous, dude. Like, I mean, the ship was barely on the board. Like, on the dock, what you're getting for $500 if you live in America. Now, if you buy it overseas, from overseas like I did, it is a bit of a hard pick because you're buying something that isn't going to be good value. Now, the dock at $500 is 8,500 Rand, and that would have been an exceptional deal. But, unfortunately, I had to pay shipping and handling, and that's just my tax for being a South African, right? But yo, like, for $500, you're getting peace of mind. You're getting the ability to run any sort of CPU configuration. I'm talking P-core, E-core, whatever you want. Ring frequency requirements, signal integrity requirements for the RAM, like anything. You're talking about quality control. Like, you're paying for an inner-cell VRM controller, inner-cell power stages. You're paying for exceptional QC, peace of mind, stability, reliability, unrivaled BIOS support, considerations like the settings within the BIOS, what they have there, the preloaded profiles that you can kind of work off and look at and just like get inspiration from. Everything is so thoughtfully placed. Everything was done so meticulously that for $500, compared to what I'm selling my board for secondhand, or what you could buy ones for secondhand, even though, yes, the speeds, like, even the OC you can get with the dock doesn't really beat the one you get in the Strix by that far. Like, the thing is, with the Strix, you're literally on a terrible BIOS. They push BIOS updates to Windows, meaning they don't give a shit about you. Basically, what that means. What it means is they don't care. They don't. Asus's BIOS department does not really care about the consumer, and the considerations are not plentiful. Like, they pretty much do the minimum they can do, and that's that, right? You're getting the least that they can do, and they're putting it into BIOS. You're getting buggy features sometimes broken features, like talking about like AVX 512 appearing in the one menu, but there's no hint of 512 when you have the microcode incorrectly. Like, if you have the wrong microcode, 512 does not exist. The dock considers it. So when you're loading E-cores, for example, on the dock will turn off the E-core multiplier and shit. It'll do all these different things. It'll turn off the E-core's individual atom PLL. I mean, it's so meticulous. Everything is so in its place and correct. It's just like you're buying the tuning experience. You're buying something that's going to give you unrivaled peace of mind and just like premium build quality. Like, that's what the dock is. The dock is the ultimate motherboard. Like, regardless if you're an enthusiast or an OC, like an OCer, if you're just a gamer, the dock is the motherboard to buy. It is the motherboard. EVGA does not pay me anything. I don't even know anyone from EVGA. I paid for this for myself. But comparing the Taichi, the dock, the Strix board, the Apex, I've had 4 boards now. I've had 2 different Strixes. Look, the Strix board is great value for money. I even said OC in the one time. It is probably the best value for money motherboard that has ever existed, right? Like, at 300, if you can get it for like $300, new even, it is probably the most impressive motherboard ever. It does DDR5 speeds better than some of the higher end boards they sell. It has a good VRM. It has more than enough power stages. The 6-layer PCB does work. I mean, the 6-layer PCB is completely perfect. Like, I mean, for 6 layers, what that board can do with 6 layers is crazy. It's crazy. It's a great motherboard, and it gets you almost all the Alder Lake DDR5 performance you want, right? But the dock does up to 8,000. If you own A-die, Hynix A-die, the dock can do 8,000. Now, the Strix motherboards probably, if you get 6,000 from M-die, you're probably expecting like 7,000 from A-die, which is what we're hearing. Because you will get more speed from A-die, obviously. If A-die increases speed on the dock, obviously on the Strix, it makes sense. So on the Strix, the A-die might do 7,000, maybe. But take that same kit in the dock, possible 8,000. 7,800, probably very doable. So The dock can do 7800, 8000 with the right RAM kit. Obviously, you need a bin CPU as well to get that fast. But if you had a KS as well, like let's say you wanted to get like the maximum speed out of a top bin KS, like you wanted to get like 5.6 all core, well, that wouldn't be Linpack. Okay, let's say 5.4 all core Linpack Stable with like 5 ring Linpack Stable, even on an AIO, like this could do it, because this is the one with this is the board that's going to run the CPU the least voltage. It's going to compromise the ring stability the least with the RAM, regardless of what speed your RAM's running at. This is the board. Like, this board will give you the best, like hands down best experience. Plus, EVGA's warranties is always insane. So their warranties are global, they're transferable. EVGA, man, like this board, the stuff that they make, they always make the best shit. Well, they do fumble sometimes. Like the 3080 for the Win 3 was kind of shit, but it's neither here nor there. And the 90s as well. The early for the Win 3 cards and Ampere were kind of shit because they had a really bugged VRM, but that's neither here nor there. That is what it is. You know, the cards PCB was badly designed, but whatever, it doesn't matter. This motherboard's a win. Kingpin did. I mean, I'm assuming the board is named after him because he was the one that advised the creation of it. Like, he advised what they used and how they laid out and stuff. I'm assuming whatever he did alongside the engineers, this board is a absolute win. This board is incredible. Like, there is nothing to complain about. Like I said before, this board is literally the best. Like, there's nothing that's better. And regardless of the fact the value is not necessarily that good for getting UEFI faster, if you want a die and you want to max at a die, this board will do it. This board will take your 13th gen CPU and fucking skyrocket it. Like, if you want your 3900K to be able to run the best all-core possible frequency, the best possible ring frequency, 8000 plus, this board could do it. Now, I think the Z690 Dark will be better. How much better? I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to add like 3 or 4 more power stages, maybe like a 20. Well, the problem is 21 is the controller. I mean, what are they going to do? I don't know. I doubt it. I think they're going to use like maybe like 110 amp power stages, like the new ones that came out. So maybe like the 110 amp power stages probably. No, definitely those. Maybe like a 22 stage VRM, maybe 22 or something, 23 maybe, and then probably like DDR5 8000 to 9000 support. I mean, this could be 8000, so probably 9000 maybe. Well, how would they do that? Maybe 12 layers, possibly. Now, by that point, I would say this board at $500 versus the 790 version at like $900. This board, because like 9000, like why would you want to run, like how are you gonna run 9000? Like 9000 would be hard to fucking do. Like I don't know when ICs that come out will do 9000. I'm assuming the A die we have now is going to be like the fastest for a while. I'm assuming for like at least a year and a half or so. But yeah, this board is an exceptional motherboard. Even looking at $500 versus $400 on the UEFI X, $250 on the Strix, you know, like $250 for the Force and the Carbon. No, this motherboard, $500 is worth it. It's worth it. Peace of mind, BIOS support, warranty support, quality control, everything. It's just no. This board wins. This board, it just wins in every regard. I did hear about a guy who received the dock, overclocked the RAM, and then his dimmer slots died. I don't know how the hell that happened. I don't know if he tried 1.65 VDIM, because that's going to make 1.65 go through VDD2. I don't know what he did, but something happened, and that board just, I mean, it's possibly he tried like 1.7 VDIM, and then like, or VDD, so like 1.7 VDD, and then maybe like it was like 1.7 VDD2 or something. I'm assuming it was 1.65, probably, but I don't know. I don't know what he did, but those dim slots died. I'm assuming he just shoved way too much voltage to them. I don't know. Because he said it happened with like an hour. So I've been testing this board for like the last fucking 4 days. So it's been fine. God willing, I hope this board stays alive because I don't feel like warranting it. Like I said, EVGA has good warranties, but I don't feel like RMAing it. I like this board. This board's doing well for me. I got a good sample. My Kingston kit's doing really well on this board. 7000 1.55 volts is very good and very deliverable. I like the CPU configuration I have right now. I am happy. This is fast enough for me. I'm happy. So I'm hoping it stays like healthy. But yeah. But like I said, I think QC on these boards should be pretty good because, like, you can notice, just looking at the board, you can tell if QC was done well. And you can see it by the way the soldering was done, how clean the polish is. I know, stupid things, but you can see when the QC is poor, you will notice that certain things look kind of wonky, kind of off, kind of skew, misaligned. But yeah, this board, exceptional. Like, wow, like, amazing. Just amazing. Like, I've never owned a motherboard this cool before. Like, really. Like, this motherboard is worth every cent. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this breakdown of the Dark. It's quite a long one, but the board deserves it. Like, this is the best board of all time. Like, straight up. So, yeah.